So good afternoon, everyone. I feel like I know many folks on the call, but for those I don't know, I look forward to meeting you and working with you soon. I am State Representative China Tyler, the Vice Chair of the Judiciary Committee in the House. And I also too happen to be the chairwoman of the Massachusetts Black and Latino Caucus. And I'm so proud to be here today. I want to start off with a huge thank you to my colleagues in the Criminal Justice Reform Caucus, all of you. Special shout out to Senator Eldridge and Representative Keefe for chairing this fight for justice with the Criminal Justice Caucus. And I also too wanted to thank Bianca Tylik. She's amazing, and the work that you have done here has been amazing. To Prisoners Legal Services, you guys are amazing, and we really appreciate your partnership. And to Ms. Reed, who will be speaking a little bit later, we appreciate you being on these calls with all that you have sacrificed in your own home. So a little bit about me. I've worked this issue topic of just prison reform in general is very near and dear to me. I grew up with a household full of men who were all at one point in their lives incarcerated, and so know firsthand how this feels to a family. And upon graduating college, I spent my first couple of years working at a pre-release center, helping those that were nearing release get employment, housing, and community support. And so I'm here today before you as state rep, and it is my honor to be able to push this bill forward. And for the second year in a row, I've had the true honor of leading the charge alongside my Senate co-sponsor here, Leader Cream, to pass House Bill 1900/Senate 1559, titled An Act Relative to Telephone Services for Inmates in All Correctional and Other Penal Institutions in the Commonwealth. When someone is incarcerated, believe it or not, it is extremely expensive, as we all know, to maintain health and wellness behind the walls. And one of my biggest expenses, and one of the biggest expenses folks take on, is to have to keep in touch with their family who is their support systems. So passing this bill will allow for those who happen to be incarcerated to make phone calls, video calls, email services free of charge in any detention center here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And it really just does boggle me to see how a company like Securus is able to charge for a free email anyways. It's just really mind-boggling. This is extremely important because going home is a reality for everyone, and we cannot afford to put more barriers in place from preventing them from having the real second chance at success upon release. And we'll get into the numbers more, and I'm sure Bianca will give a very amazing brief, as she's done me very many times, on the cost here. But on average, Massachusetts residents who are our families, many who are low income, are charged about 21 cents per minute or so, for a total of $3.15 for a maximum of a 15-minute call to speak to a loved one who is incarcerated. And in Massachusetts, we spend annually about $16.8 million on phone calls to our loved ones who happen to be incarcerated. Long story short, folks, it's more than your cell phone bill. So this situation is nearly impossible to afford when we know that inmates make well under $1 per hour while working in the jail. So not only can inmates not afford it, but the rates are so inconsistent across many institutions, and they continue to increase at the expense of families who are just trying to support their loved ones while incarcerated. So rather than making a pathway home more difficult for folks, we need to ensure that going home is a real reality. So this matter is unfair to families in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and they shouldn't be taken advantage of and forced to carry this heavy financial burden. So making phone calls will help lower recidivism rates and help establish a more successful reentry for those incarcerated currently. So in closing, I'd just like to say thank you all, and we are well on our way to making this happen. We have many partners who were very interesting partners in this space, including the Department of Corrections and sheriffs are at the table and were engaging with us. And we will keep pushing to ensure that phone calls are not another barrier to folks actually going home on a good foot. Everyone deserves to have a clean slate after they serve their time. But here in Massachusetts right now with these telephone calls, it's just not the case. And with that, I urge you to support House Bill 1900 and our Senate counterpart bill. And please make sure you call your state rep and your senator and ensure that they are educated about the bill. If you have questions or need more specifics on what this bill actually means, you can feel free to reach out to any of the partners here, and we'll be more than happy to get you beefed up and versed on specific issue topics that you can speak with your electeds about, and make sure that they are signed on to the bill, because the more that we have support in the forefront, the more likely it is to pass. So I want to say thank you all for your commitment to our incarcerated community, and please know that I'm committed alongside Senator Cream to help and champion this bill. And we look forward to hopefully passing this bill this year in the legislature in the 192nd session.